And welcome to Clean PC's review of ArchLabs Linux. ArchLabs Linux is a combination of Crunchbang Linux and Arch Linux. Crunchbang Linux is a minimalist distribution that's Debian slash Ubuntu based, and Arch is its own distribution. If you've never used it, it's certainly a little challenging if you're new to Linux, but once you get to know Arch, you'll really like it. It's highly customizable. So ArchLabs Linux brings in the best of both worlds from each distribution. So as you can see, when you boot into ArchLabs Linux in a live CD like this, I'm using VirtualBox, you see the first thing that comes up is this hello from them, and in this you can get links to their documentation, to their support, and to the project itself. So definitely you have the ability to turn that off and on too if you click this button, but I would definitely leave it on, especially if you're new to Linux. It's really nice to have this come up just in case you want to inquire about any of these links. So we're going to close this for the time being. And here you can see a very nicely laid out aesthetic distribution from ArchLabs Linux. It's version 4.1.0 as we can see right here. On the right hand side we see that Conky is running. We have our system information with our host, kernel, and our uptime, how much space is used, how much RAM is used, and CPU usage as well. So using OpenBox as a desktop environment, everything is right click. So here we can see we have our menu and the various options that we can choose. And also up here at the top, if you ever want to get that initial window back, you can click right there and that hello comes back. So as we look at the menu, we can choose to run a program, or we can just select one of the options. We'll go into the terminal. And here you can see again, very nice terminal window, nice color coding to the text. We can see the information here, ArchLabs version 4.1.0, their kernel, memory usage, our uptime, number of packages, the shell, the Windows Manager, the theme, icons, and terminal. So here if we enter in a command, we can see our results. Very snappy distribution. And if we go to the default web browser, it's going to be Chromium. And if we type in we're going to go to the ArchLabs Linux website, and here you go. You can see this is a really nice website. Expand this out a little bit. You can see all the options here that you can look into, as well as their social media presence up here. So definitely check the website out. Also, if you get a chance, if you're new to Linux, I highly recommend going to DistroWatch. This is a great site, great resource for Linux distributions. And that is Chromium that comes stock. And again, ArchLabs does a really good job with the default programs. They've chosen some really key programs to have in their distribution by default, and you're going to see that in just a minute. So if we look at File Manager, you can come in here. Because it's a virtual machine, you can go into Documents. There's nothing in there, unfortunately. So we can click around. You can see the nice aesthetics, very nice icons that they've included. Just really well done. We look at Text Editor. This is a prime example. So here we have Genie. If you do any coding at all, you might be familiar with Genie. It's a really nice editor, light, super fast. We could go ahead and we could start writing a shell script right now if we wanted. Very cool. We're not going to. I'm not going to choose to save this. The media player by default is VLC. If you're unfamiliar, VLC is like a Swiss Army knife. It'll play pretty much any media that you can get your hands on. Also does conversion too, which is really nice. So if you're unfamiliar with it, definitely look it up. But again, it's installed by default in ArchLabs Linux. So very nice. And then again in the menu you can see under accessories we have a bunch of options. Under graphics they include GIMP and Inkscape, which is really nice if you do any graphics work. Multimedia, again, a couple options as well as VLC. We can see under network that we have Chromium and Firefox as our web browsers. We also have FileZilla, SFTP client, as well as a few other options. In Office, we've got our options here, including Libre Office, which is really nice. And we can actually go ahead and open this up. And again, we're using about 2 gigs of RAM, so this is relatively snappy. And under programming, we see Genie and Sublime Text. We also have shortcut for places, so you can go to your desktop or your documents. Again, being a live distribution running in VirtualBox, there's nothing in here, unfortunately. Another cool thing is under Preferences, we have this Conky and Conky Chooser. So here, you could unclick this default Conky and switch to any of these, hit OK, and that's going to come up over here on the right-hand side. This is a really nice feature. If you're familiar with Conky, if you don't have a nice menu like this, you have to manually edit Conky by hand. So this is actually a really cool feature that I enjoy seeing in this distribution. Again, under Preferences, you can see all your different options here. You can choose wallpaper. Again, you see that we have many options. Really, from a visual perspective, they did a great job with this. So we can click this and say Apply. And now we've changed our background. So again, very well done. Then you can do system settings. We could go into Pac-Man here, or it's also displayed up here. If we click on it, we can see it's red and it said we had 176 packages available. See down here, it's going to sync. If we give it just a second, we can now see all the different packages that we could update. We're not going to do that right now for this demonstration, though. And again, you can see you have help and resources here. You can look at the keybinds. We can lock the screen. We can exit. So just a really nice, simple menu. Very easy to navigate. Everything is right-click. So just really well done by the developers for ArchLabs Linux. I highly recommend, if you like this distribution, go to their website, donate to them. Free and open source software is powered by all the developers who donate their time to make things better and to create great distributions like this. So I highly encourage, if you use a Linux distribution, whichever one it may be, definitely donate to the developers. If you know anybody who does free and open source software development, buy them a cup of coffee. Because without these developers, we would not have all this great free software to try out. That is my review of ArchLabs Linux, and I appreciate you watching.